Good morning. This is Dr. Forum M. Joshi, and we are meeting for the third part of the chapter 4, that is band theory of solids. Today we are going to discuss photoconductivity, LDR, then say solar cell, photodiode, and the last but not the least, Hall effect. We will start with the photoconductivity. Photoconductivity, it is actually the effect which induces EMF or even the current due to the incidence of the photon. One can see here that if the semiconducting material is put inside under the illumination, the electron will move from the valence band to the conduction band. Why? Because due to the absorption of the appropriate wavelength of the photon. What do you mean by the appropriate wavelength or appropriate energy of the photon? It should be, the energy should be exactly equal to the energy band gap of the semiconducting material. As we all know that energy band gap, it is the difference of the conduction band energy and the valence band energy. So here one can see that the critical wavelength, the maximum wavelength that can be applied in the form of the photon, that is lambda c, that is equal to hc upon eg. That's why if energy band gap is measured in electron volt, then lambda c will be equal to 1.24 divided by eg in EV, of course, and the lambda c will be given, we can retrieve it in micrometer. So the basic principle of photoconductivity is that says that upon the introduction of the photon, upon the incidence of the photon, the electron will be moving from the valence band to the conduction band by absorption of the appropriate wavelength of the photon, and due to that, electron will be free in the conduction band to conduct, and in the outer circuit we can get the current. This is called photoconductivity. Now, what is LDR? The light dependent resistor. As the name suggests, its resistance varies with light. It is not a diode, it is actually a simple semiconducting wafer. Semiconducting material whose resistance varies with light. If it is illuminated, the resistance varies. Which materials can be used? Simple PN junction diode, silicon or say germanium we use, but here we use some compound materials, heterojunction materials, which are CDS, PBS, that is cadmium sulfide or lead sulfide, or CDSE, cadmium selenide. These materials, when they are illuminated with light photons, with of course appropriate light photons, they will their resistance will change, and due to that, in the outer circuit we can have the photoconductivity. Actually, it is LDR is a thin layer of the material connected between two terminals. It is not a PN junction, as I said earlier. So between two terminals, if I connect the LDR, then I'll get the current in the outermost circuit. One can see here in the left hand side figure, it is the construction of the LDR. In the lowermost part of the material, it is coated with ceramic. There are two wire terminals, photoconductive material over the top surface, and there are two electrodes which are connected with the wire terminals, and the clear coating over the entire top surface. This two terminals, they are cold veiled contacts, and on the right hand side we can see the animation of the LDR. When we put the light on the LDR, we can have the current in the outer circuit. See, in the again in this left hand side circuit, we can have an LED, we can have a preset resistor to avoid the LED from going burst, and when we just switch on the light, we can have the current in the outer circuit and we can have the LED on. This we can show in the experiment, as we have studied in our earlier part for diode and Zener diode. We have used breadboard to study them. We can also use the same breadboard to study the LED and LDR. One can see here that here is an LDR. Here is actually the real LDR. One can see a small lines over there, right? And it is the symbol of the LDR. One can see here. And here is the another LDR which is joined in the circuit. We have provided a 9-volt battery to the LDR, and it is in series joined with LED. LED is again joined with the negative of the battery. Now right now you can see that LED is lighting, and now if I put my finger over there over the LDR, means I am not providing the light input to the circuit, then the LED hardly lights. Now this is actually a very low power LED, so I can use this directly with in series with LDR. But if I want to use, if I use say a high power LED like this, then LDR, due to the LDR's limitation, I will not get much change in the light of the LED, right? You can see here. So in order to prevent my LED, I should use one resistance here. The resistance should have the appropriate value, and due to that I can have a bit change in the LDR, in the LED light, right? So this is the use of the LDR. It can be used as light sensor, right? If I what do you mean by light sensor? If there is a dark room and if there is some light, say whenever there is a visible light, we can see it with naked eye, but if there is an infrared light, then we cannot see that. We should detect it, and if there is an infrared light existing in the room with appropriate material used in the LDR, if I get the glow in the circuit, then I can say that infrared light exists in the room. Now we will move to the PPT again. The here is the plot of the light dependent resistor. It is actually the plot of resistance versus light intensity. The resistance is plotted in ohms and light intensity is measured in terms of candela. And one can see here that as the light intensity increases, the resistance gradually decreases, and that's why this is called light dependent resistance. And this gradual decrease in the resistance, it will consequently increase in conductivity. So this is actually the spectral response, the second characteristics of the LDR. It is actually a relative spectral response in terms of percentage. It gives the number of photons on the left hand side on the y-axis, and it gives the wavelength on the x-axis. One can see that at a particular wavelength, that is the critical wavelength of that particular material, one can have the highest response from the LDR. What do you mean by spectral response? It is the graph of the photon flux versus wavelength, and here we can see the shape of the graph is Gaussian. The Gaussian shape of graph, it says that it is not a single line graph. We are not getting all the photons at a particular wavelength. Due to the thermal vibrations of the electrons inside the LDR, we can have slightly width at in the graph. And as we have seen in the LED itself, the same graph we have observed in the LED, but it is again due to the same reason, due to the thermal vibrations, we are getting this type of graph. This Gaussian curve, it says that we can have the spectral transitions at a particular wavelength, and below and above such wavelength there is a small margin of photons, and there we can have a Gaussian curve, right? The lambda c, the critical wavelength, can be given as 1.24 divided by Eg, when Eg is measured in electron volt, and the lambda c that we can retrieve, that is in micrometer. Now what are the applications of the LDR? LDR says that it is a light dependent resistor. So the first application is in street light on off system. Whenever the sunlight goes down, LDR will be having no input, so it will act as a simple resistor, because due to the light intensity the resistance decreases. If sunlight is not there, then resistance will automatically increase, and if it is increasing, then it can give a signal, it can work as a signal to the street light on off system. The second is, it can it can be used as a light meter to measure the intensity of the light. As I said that as and when we just increase or decrease light, the resistance of the material will change, and it can be used as a light meter. The third one I have already discussed. It is infrared radiation detection. For visible light, we can see its existence with our naked eye, but the infrared radiation we cannot sense it, so we have to detect it, and as an infrared detector we can use LDR. The third one is in recording of the soundtrack, and the last word, which is most important, it can be used as an object counter. If on the conveyor belt is transparent, if we put an LDR below the conveyor belt, and if we provide necessary circuitry, as and when the object comes on the LDR, it will be giving it will not be providing the light to the LDR, right? That's why the LDR will not conduct, the resistance will be very high, and as and when the object passes from that, the LDR will conduct, and due to that, whenever the object passes, the number of times for which the LDR has stopped conducting, that is the number of the objects. So this is how it can be used as an object counter. Now these are a number of applications of LDR. There are very much scope for the use of the light dependent resistor. Now the second device that we are going to study, that is photodiode. Photodiode, it is a PN junction, simple PN junction diode with reverse bias, and it is working on the principle of the photoconductivity again. It has photocarriers, and the photocarriers, when it is actually working on the same principle. When photons are applied to the photodiode, it is actually initially reverse biased diode. So whatever we are getting in terms of characteristics, that is a simple PN junction diode characteristics. As you can see in the graph, the first line that we can see, that is the dark current. That is, the photodiode is not provided with any number of photons. The dark current that we are getting, that is actually reverse saturation current. Just revising the PN junction diode that we have studied in the first lecture of this chapter, the PN junction diode says that in the reverse bias, when we provide the diode with reverse bias condition, there will be a very small amount of current which is passing through, and that is a leakage current, that is due to minority charge carriers. And due to that, this at a particular temperature, this thermally generated minority charge carriers has a constant number. So this reverse saturation current, it comes in a constant number, it comes in a constant value. So that's why it is independent of the reverse voltage. Whatever will be the reverse bias voltage, the reverse saturation current will be constant. It is of the order of microampere. Right? So this is the dark current. The dark current is nothing but the simple PN junction diode reverse saturation current. Now what happens when we provide the light to the PN junction diode? What we are getting in the output when we are providing the light to the PN junction diode, which is in reverse bias, the depletion layer is already broadened, and due to that, the electron hole pair generated at the junction, that will be separated due to the depletion barrier, and due to that, in the outermost circuit we can have the current, and that current will be increasing. That current will enhance the value of the original reverse saturation current, and that's why we can see that the second line, the second curve in the reverse saturation graph, we can have a constant graph again, but at a particular intensity of light we can have a constant increase in current, and that is called the illumination current, IL. And this current is fully dependent on the light intensity. One can see the third and fourth curve. As and when we can see that as and when the light intensity is increased from 0 lux to 300 lux to 900 lux to 1500 lux, the current is increasing. Again we can see that this current is independent of the reverse voltage. It is fully dependent on the light intensity that we are providing. It is only due to the light intensity that we are getting. If the diode is not illuminated, we can get only the dark current, which is simply reverse saturation current, purely due to the PN junction diode's minority charge carrier. Okay, so this is the first one is the symbol of the PN junction diode. The second one is a schematic diagram of PN junction diode and the light that we are providing. And the third one, the downmost, is the reverse voltage characteristics, the reverse VI characteristics of the photodiode with respect to the intensity of the light that we are providing. So what are the applications of the photodiode? It is one and the same as LDR. It can be used as an object counter, it can be used as infrared light detector, and also it can be used as an indicator in the circuit. Also, street light on off system also uses the photodiode as their one of the part. Right now, the third one is the photovoltaic cell. It is popularly known as solar cell. One can have a glance at this picture. There are so many large solar panels, and of course the source of energy is sun. Actually, it is a photovoltaic cell, and we know it as solar cell. Now, how does it work? The basic principle is one and the same, but here we are using the word photovoltaic cell. We are not providing any bias here, and we are having the output as an EMF. In the first one, LDR, it was only a semiconductor material, it was only a semiconducting wafer. In photodiode, it is we were providing with some reverse bias, and we were getting some output in terms of current. But here in the third case, we are using the same principle, that is, when photons are incident on the material, on the PN junction diode, we can have the electron holes pair generated and they are separated, right? But here we are not providing any bias, so electron hole pair, whatever they are generated, they will be separated and they will be accumulated at the two ends of the PN junction diode, and in the output we can have the potential difference between the two ends of the PN junction diode, and that